is Barbara Lewis, and I'm the hospital director for Southern California for the National Union of Healthcare Workers. Our union represents 15,000 healthcare workers in California and in Hawaii. We are here today to demand that Tenet Healthcare do more to save lives and protect patients and staff. Today, you will hear directly from 3 staff about the unsafe conditions inside the hospital, but these are just a few examples. On Monday, June 29th, we sent a letter to the CEO of this hospital, Ken McFarland, and in that letter, we cited 15 specific examples that directly related to the hospital's failure to test, trace, notify, and quarantine staff who were placed in dangerous situations. While our members continue to get sick, as of this morning, Fountain Valley has made no response to our request to step up safety measures. We have made multiple efforts to work with management. We fear that Tenet Healthcare's refusal to go beyond the bare minimum guidelines to protect patients and staff at a time when Orange County is number 3 in the state of California with the highest infection rates and the highest deaths will result in further unnecessary deaths and illness in this community. Fountain Valley must do more to save lives. Our first speaker is Josh Jesus, Radiology Department.
My name is Josh Jesus. I'm a CT Tech in Radiology Department here at Fountain Valley Regional Hospital. I live with my wife, my mother-in-law, and my 3 kids. Every day when I come home from work, I go into the garage, take off my clothes, and go in the shower. I am taking every possible precaution to keep my family safe. But Fountain Valley Regional Hospital isn't taking the safety of its workers and patients nearly as seriously. We all have families to go home to. We all want to be safe, but we can't be safe when patients and workers aren't even being tested for COVID-19. Last week, a hospital transporter informed management that a household member had contracted COVID-19. This worker should have been immediately tested and quarantined. Instead, management ordered the worker to stay on the job. Several days later, the worker began showing symptoms and now is hospitalized with COVID-19. One of my colleagues who had contact with the workers is now showing COVID-19 symptoms. 3 other workers who came in close contact are now in self-quarantine. Losing 4 techs during a pandemic is a big deal. Managers are scrambling for people to work extra shifts. Everyone is overworked. It's a much bigger hit to our department now than it was if that person would have just been tested immediately. Fountain Valley is going to say that they are following CDC guidelines, but those guidelines are far too weak. And just following those guidelines is what got us here today. Too many caregivers are infected at Fountain Valley, and too many patients are at risk because the hospital is content to do the bare minimum. Safety must become a real priority at Fountain Valley Regional Hospital. We need contact tracing that workers can trust. Right now, we don't. We don't even know how many of us have been exposed or who needs to be quarantined. We need to test every patient admitted to our hospital. We need to test every worker, especially those who have been potentially exposed to COVID-19. Those are common sense safety precautions, but when we requested the hospital executives to implement them, they refused. We're upset. We're putting our health on the line to take care of people during a pandemic. It shouldn't be too much to ask for a hospital to give us the peace of mind of knowing whether our patients have COVID-19 and knowing that our workers don't have the virus as well. I don't want to see any more of my coworkers get sick because the Fountain Valley Regional Hospital will make safety its top priority. Thank you.
Hey, what's your name and all your first?
Joshua Jesus, Radiology Department.
Joshua Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to introduce Michelle Michelle Riggins, Nursing Department, Fountain Valley Hospital.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Riggs. I'm a certified nursing assistant working in the COVID unit at Fountain Valley Regional Hospital. I am also the primary caregiver for my brother who has heart disease and needs an oxygen machine to breathe. I also live with 2 of my children and my fiance. Fountain Valley Regional Hospital is not taking COVID-19 seriously and is definitely not taking the safety of its workers and patients seriously. At Fountain Valley Regional Hospital, we don't know for sure whether our patients have COVID-19 or not because the hospital won't test all patients. I've been informed twice that I have been exposed to COVID-19 from treating patients that were later found to have the virus. Recently, I was in a room all day with a patient who was on BiPAP, which circulates his air. And at the end of the day, I was told he might have COVID and was being tested. I can't afford to get COVID. I can't afford to have my kids get COVID from me, and I definitely can't afford to have my brother get COVID because it could easily kill him. One of my co-workers worked 2 consecutive 12-hour shifts with a patient who was not identified as COVID positive or a PUI. She did not have proper PPE to be with a COVID patient, but at the end of her shift, she was also informed that the patient had tested COVID positive. Instead of testing her and putting her on paid administrative leave, the hospital told her to keep working all of her scheduled shifts for the week. She is now showing symptoms of COVID-19. The hospital refused to test her. Yesterday, she sat for 6.5 hours at another testing site waiting to be tested because her own employer refused to administer the test. Fountain Valley Regional Hospital is not taking COVID-19 seriously enough. I had one charge nurse tell me that this is just like taking care of a TB patient. No, it's not. They have a vaccine for TB. This is a pandemic. People are dying. People, we ask for protection. It goes in one ear and out of the other. Fountain Valley Regional Hospital isn't putting workers at risk. It's putting patients at risk too. The COVID floor at Fountain Valley has a mix of COVID and non-COVID patients. This is unsafe. Even more unsafe, Fountain Valley makes nursing assistants care for both COVID and non-COVID patients on the same shift. And we have to wear the same N95 mask all day, no matter who we are caring for. Nursing assistants on my floor often have to care for 10 COVID patients per shift. We have to check their vital signs, feed them, and bathe them. We are at a very high risk for exposure. 4 nursing assistants have come down with COVID in the last 2 weeks alone. We need protection, and that starts with testing workers and testing patients. Fountain Valley should be testing everyone, and we cannot feel safe until they do. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christina Rodriguez, Respiratory Department at Fountain Valley Regional.
Hi everyone. My name is Christina Rodriguez. I've been a respiratory therapist at this hospital almost 17 years now. This is the biggest crisis we faced here at Fountain Valley Regional Hospital in my 17 years. Fountain Valley Regional Hospital is owned by Tenet Healthcare. Tenet Healthcare is a Fortune 500 company. They currently have cash in hand, $2.2 billion. It has the money to enact the strongest infection control protocols to keep workers and patients safe. The only reason they're refusing to do it is greed. Cases are going up. Incidents of exposure are going up. We're at war with an enemy we cannot see. We're being treated as being expendable. I had one instance when the hospital informed me that I had been potentially exposed to COVID. It turned out the exposure had occurred more than 2 weeks earlier. Why did it take them over 2 weeks to tell me that I had been exposed? I have asthma and diabetes. My spouse has just been recently diagnosed with cancer. We don't sleep in the same room because of the risk of infection is too great. If I'm exposed to COVID, I need to know as soon as possible. But the hospital shows zero urgency. It's as if they don't think we should be concerned about being exposed. The answer is to test everyone walking through our doors. Other hospitals do it. People come to the hospital because they don't feel well. Maybe due to their underlying medical conditions or some new onset, but we don't know if it's COVID. As a respiratory therapist, myself and my coworkers are responsible for administering treatments and managing the ventilators that are helping keep COVID patients alive. Let me tell you, it's grim. A COVID patient on a ventilator cannot speak, and depending on what kind of bed they're on, they might not be able to move. The only words of encouragement they receive is from a healthcare worker. Otherwise, they are alone, without family, fighting for their life. When you see more than one body going out the door, that hurts. And the fact that they might have died without someone they love holding their hand is an emotional tragedy one cannot ignore. It's a battlefield, and as caregivers, we're fighting for every life. But we want our hospital to protect us and our patients, and it's not. Why wouldn't you test everybody? It doesn't make sense. Early diagnosis and treatment options is seen as essential in this fight. We work for a very profitable hospital that is part of an enormously profitable multinational corporation. Tenet Healthcare has to stop only caring about its bottom line of profit and start taking care of its workers and its patients and its community. That means testing everyone, quarantining people who have been exposed, and that means making sure that caregivers aren't treating COVID and non-COVID patients at the same time. More staff, not less, are needed to ensure nothing is overlooked. Testing, having protective gear without worry of reusing it, everything we can do should be done to prevent exposure and stop the spread of this virus. This is how we protect the community we serve. There's no excuse not to do the right thing. Thank you.
This virus is here to stay. We are here to report that as of right now today, there are 86 COVID or PUIs in the hospital. A PUI is a patient under investigation. They have the COVID symptoms and they are awaiting the test results. 86 patients are in the hospital right now today. After this press conference, every single one of the people you see here today will go back inside this hospital to care for those patients, but not just those patients. This hospital opened up surgeries, routine procedures, and now we have a hospital where we have a majority COVID patients and other clean patients. You heard their stories. This virus is here to stay. Until we have a vaccine, healthcare workers, especially the largest for-profit hospital in Orange County, must do more to protect staff and patients. We demand testing for all staff. We demand testing for all patients, that they separate COVID and PUIs from clean patients, and that they quarantine and test staff who are exposed. I'm going to introduce Isaiah Garcia with the National Union of Healthcare Workers, who will introduce our community allies who are here with us today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isaiah Garcia. I'm an organizer with the National Union of Healthcare Workers. And I want to start by saying that what happens at Fountain Valley Regional Medical Center matters not only to the NUHW members in the hospital, but to all of us in Orange County. Though we may not see the inside of a hospital on a day-to-day basis, what happens here affects all of our community. This is the last line of defense on the fight against COVID-19, and we have to make sure that we take this issue seriously. I see representatives from churches, political organizations, and various community leaders. Assemblyman Tyler Deep is here. Deidre Wynn, Garden Grove City Councilwoman and candidate for the 72nd Assembly District is here. Lauren Johnson Norris, candidate for Irvine City Council. The United Food and Commercial Workers, Unite Here Local 11, and Melissa Fox, Irvine City Councilwoman and candidate for State Assembly, along with so many others who are our friends, neighbors, and allies. It's evident that the community stands with us, and with that, I'm proud to introduce one of our community allies, Gloria Alvarado with the Orange County Labor Federation. Gloria?
Right here, brother. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Gloria Alvarado. I'm the Orange County Labor Federation Executive Director. I represent 90 unions with over 250,000 members. Those members who live and work in Orange County and will like to have a safe environment to live in. It is shameful, I'm gonna say it again, shameful to see that the priority in a hospital is not the safety of their workers. How can I, as a community member, feel healthy and feel trustful to come into a hospital where I'm a patient of, when I'm a client of? They're making money and they're not prioritizing the life of our members. I have to say that it's a shame to see that tenant is not prioritizing testing and tracing. How do I know that when I come into an emergency room, or even when I come in to get my test, I'm not gonna be exposed if the workers in the hospital are not safe? I have to say that every day we see the numbers increase in Orange County, and we are afraid. This is why the NUHW, the Orange County Labor Federation, the business community, and others stood together to demand that the Board of Supervisors and that the sheriff enforces the uses of face masks. But that's not enough in a hospital. We need to know that our members, our workers, are not exposed, and we need to know that they're healthy so that they can remain providing the services that we need. I just heard, and I'm extremely proud of every single one that just gave testimony of their ordeal every day at work. It is ridiculous to see that every day when they come in, they don't know if they have been exposed or not, that their notices come in 2 weeks after. What about their families? What about their communities? What about us, the patients? Think about that, and I urge Tenant and Fountain Valley Regional Hospital to stand with their workers and show that they care about this community. I want to challenge them to increase the protections for workers and to stand with us every day as we battle this invisible enemy that we need to overcome. Again, thank you very much. Thank you, and UHW and all the brothers and sisters that stand with us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ada Briseño, and I'm co-president of Unite Here Local 11. We represent 32,000 workers across Orange County, Los Angeles, and Arizona. It really worries me to see that our healthcare workers, our brothers and sisters, are not adequately equipped to do the crucial work that is caring for our sick and vulnerable neighbors. My union represents hotel, airport, and food service workers. It frightens me to think that our economy is reopening. Unite Here members serve our community and the global visitors that visit Orange County, possibly exposing them to COVID-19. In worst case scenarios, our members deserve to be treated in facilities that adequately are prepared to care for them. If an NUHW member falls ill with COVID-19, it affects my union brothers and sisters and the greater community at large. Management needs to do the right thing to provide universal testing, adequate PPE, and economic protections for NUHW members. I'm very proud to stand with NUHW. Can you imagine what other facilities are going through? They're standing up. I'm proud of every single worker who's standing up and lifting their voices for their lives, for our lives, for the community in general's lives. Also, on behalf of the Democratic Party, you know, we have some leaders here. I'm very proud to know that we're standing strong, that we're looking for protection, that workers must be protected. It's simple. We need PPEs. We need protection for our workers. They're in the front line. They're our heroes and sheroes, and we've got to honor them. We've got to honor them now. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Rabbi Stephen Einstein, a board member of CLU, Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice.
Another badass.
Not only that, I am a former board member, in fact, former chairman of the board of this hospital, Fountain Valley Regional Hospital, and I have to tell you, I am heartbroken at the reaction of the current leadership of the hospital, considering what is going on today. Our NUHW members deserve to be treated as they are lauded heroes, and they are, each and every one of them. They are serving the patients while putting themselves and their families at risk, at much greater risk than they should be called upon to do. They deserve compassion, they deserve action, and action means adequate PPE and, yes, universal testing. Since I am a rabbi, I will conclude with a spiritual message. The Ten Commandments, which we acknowledge, of course, has a very famous line. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. We're called upon to listen to God's commandments, and yet, when human life is at stake, our tradition says the Sabbath can be pushed aside because the paramount value is what we call in Hebrew pikuach nefesh, the saving of human life. These members of this union are doing all they can to save human life. I call upon the leadership of Fountain Valley Medical Center to do everything possible to save their lives. Rabbi Stephen Einstein, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, E-I-N-S-T-E-I-N.
This conference, our press spokespeople are available for individual interviews if you would like to interview them individually. I just want to say to all of our members who are here, over the last several months, our shop stewards, our bargaining team members have worked tirelessly to try to figure out what were the right actions and steps to take to deal with this situation. You all know we settled the contract in an effort to move forward to deal with the best safety protocols for our members. This hospital did not respond to our efforts. This is the beginning of a long fight, I'm afraid, to get them to do the right thing. So I would just want to recognize the people who are spokespersons, Josh, Christina, and Michelle, and all of the shop stewards and bargaining team members who volunteered hours and hours each week to hold this organization together and keep you educated. And this is our opportunity to unite around the most important issue of the day, the lives of our members and the patients. So, si se puede, carry on. Thank you for coming. And there's leaflets to take back inside. And if our press spokespeople could come up in case they want to do individual interviews. Thank you all so much.